Good evening, everyone. My name is Dwayne Kimball, owner and founder of KMD89 VA Claims Consulting. Leaving no vet behind. Also, I'm a United States Army veteran. Welcome to my live Q&A session this evening. So, as always, before we get started, just remember that this Q&A session, is for informational and educational purposes only. I always advise veterans to continue to go out and get educated. Do your research on the VA's website, figure out what you're doing with your claim, but continue to get educated, okay? And also, I'd just like to thank everyone for the goodwill wishes. I really appreciate it. The last Q&A I had a couple of weeks ago, I had COVID during that time in the presentation. In that last 8 to 5 minutes of the presentation, I started of the Q&A session. I was fading quick, but I'm feeling a lot better now. And I still have a little lingering, a little small cough, but for the most part, I'm feeling a lot better now. Okay. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and jump in to the Q&A session. Because last time I had to, last couple of times I did the Q&A session, I couldn't get to everyone's questions. So make sure you go ahead, post your question now, and I'll go through and answer as many as I can over the next hour. Okay. So we got a couple of people I asked, let me know where you're joining me from. Hudson, New Hampshire. Okay. Paul, he's from Hudson, New Hampshire. Only been to New Hampshire once, Paul, and the town was called Golfstown. It was maybe like 15 minutes from Manchester. Really nice part of the country. Okay. Michael says, thanks, Dwayne. Finally got to 100%. Hey, congratulations. Now trying to put a claim in for ED. What's the chances of it being approved? Trying to tie it with mental health, diabetes, and sleep apnea, and also those meds taken. Well, Michael, I can tell you this. Diabetes, on the diabetes Dbq, it does ask, does a veteran have diabetic peripheral neuropathy, any renal conditions, eye conditions, hypertension, the cardiovascular conditions, and erectile dysfunction. So erectile dysfunction is a common complication of ED, and it could be a residual from some of the medication that you're taking for your service-connected conditions, okay? But the chances, I would say 50-50. It's going to depend on which examiner you get, what they think is tied to. So I can't say, hey, you got a 95% chance. But I will say you do have a chance, but what that percentage is, I would say 50-50. Okay, Michael is joining us from Jacksonville, Georgia. I always tease people from Jacksonville saying Jacksonville is not part of Florida. It's up in Georgia. But just kidding, Michael. Rick, can I upload a private Dr. Dbq and Nexus letter to my VHA medical records? I never uploaded any documents, but from what I understand, and that's in My Healthy Vet. My Healthy Vet is on the healthcare side. So I only know a little bit about that due to me going in there, maybe refilling my prescriptions, sending a message, secure message to my primary care physician. But there should be something on that site that may let you. Now, I will say this, you can contact your local VA medical center and contact the release of information and ask them, can you upload documents? But I would check My Healthy Vet first, do the research there. I don't know because I never worked on the healthcare side, but I would go there first and do the research. If you can't find anything there, actually the VHA has an 800 number, okay? You can call, but if not, try to your local either outpatient clinic or your VA medical center, anywhere that they have a release of information office, and ask them. They should know, okay? Paul, I'm new at streaming and and type it out. Not a problem. Welcome, Paul. We got traveling Terry Riviera Beach. When you headed down to Miami Beach there, Terry. Okay, let me get back. Paul, how do I apply for ED? Just like any other claim. I would say one, figure out under the 5 ways of service connection how you're filing it and file it like any other claim. Paul, I hope the audio works on my iPad. Just make sure you cut it up. Hey, how you doing, Mr. Spree? Good afternoon from Arizona. Okay, it's 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and it's 89 degrees and sunny here in Florida. With a little bit of humidity. Humidity wasn't too bad today. Traveling Terry went to CMP today. Doc wanted me to bend my knee past a point of pain to check range of motion. I refused. Very hostile exam. Wasn't interested in my private medical record. Cancel exam. Waiting second exam. Hey, sorry to hear that, Terry. And in some of my past YouTube videos where I talked about my VA claims process as a former VA rater, I said I had 4 CMP exams before Dbqs came on board. 2 of them were horrible. And one of them, I would say, Terry, was pretty much hostile. She didn't care what I said. She had her mind made up that she was going to deny. I felt that she had her mind made up to deny everything before I even got there. I mean, it started off bad and it went from bad to worse to hostile. That's unfortunate. And you've probably heard me, Terry is a huge supporter. He's in some of my roundtables. He's always on some my Q&A sessions. He's done private Q&As with me. And I always say that the examiners, and all my exams was at the CMP exam. I never had an exam through a third-party contractor. But I will say this, and I've said it before, you have some examiners that are advocates for veterans, then you have some that are not. A lot of veterans, they think that they get in there and the examiner say, oh, thank you for your service. Oh, let me check. And they're all nice. And then they deny everything. I just feel that that's the setup. So Terry, sorry to hear that you went through that. I went through it. I've talked to several other veterans that went through it, but it's just unfortunate. And, it's the roll of the dice of what type of examiner you get. But again, just making sure that you're educated, because that piece of it, you can't control. You can't control. But, again, I think you said here, you cancel exam, waiting on second exam. So I've even heard of veterans, stating that it was an insufficient exam and just asking for a second exam. And even if it's denied, I've heard of veterans filing a high-level review and saying, hey, I went to this exam. It was hostile. This is what happened. I don't feel I was given due process. And the only thing that I'm asking for in this high-level review is for another CMP exam, because that examiner flat out refused to listen to whatever I was saying, didn't document, or whatever the case may be. Okay. Hey, Sam, how you doing? Hey, big, hey, big Sar. Excuse me, still got that lingering cough. Sam, I did see the documents. I'll take a look at them tomorrow, and we'll connect. Let's try to, I think I sent your email. Maybe I think I said this Friday or something, but I didn't look at all of them. It was like, I think 15 pages, 15 different documents. So I will take a look at them and we'll connect this week. And I'll give you some feedback on that. All right. Let's see. Ms. Glasgow, question. If I have my personal psych doctor evaluate me twice a year and upload it, can I stop going to the VA for a psych doctor? Ms. Glasgow, that would be totally up to you. There's no requirement that if you're service connected for a condition, you have to receive that treatment at the VA. Okay. But that will be up to you. Okay. And then it will be up to you if you want to upload those documents to My Healthy Vet. Somebody asked a question earlier, can they do it? And, I pointed them to release of information office. I think that you can. I'm not totally certain. I am familiar with My Healthy Vet, but I never worked on the healthcare side. So I've only accessed My Healthy Vet as an actual veteran looking at information. Okay. Randy, hey Dwayne, thanks for all you do. Not a problem. You're most certainly welcome. It's my passion to educate veterans on the VA claims process. Recently had a CMP exam for sleep apnea and migraines. My Nexus had the verbiage, paraphrasing, for sleep apnea was caused by my service-connected PTSD at 50% or more likely. Okay. And also, one of the things, some of my clients, when we're looking at their Nexus statement, I ask questions, you know, do you have a copy of the claims folder? Because in the M21, the uh, the reference is clear. The doctor has to look at your claims folder, some information in there. Now, I don't think that they need to look at the entire claims folder, but it depends on the claim. If it's something for a simple increase, there's no reason to go all the way back, the examiner go all the way back and look through the service treatment records because the nexus and the link and the initial has already been completed. They're just trying to find out what are the current residuals. Okay. But every claim is different. Leroy, hello. I have Bell's palsy from Army dental surgery, and it is permanent, but the VA is saying there's no connection. Okay. First question that I have, well, obviously, if you have your medical records from service, it should show that. Okay. If you had a CMP exam, do you have a copy of that CMP exam? Why did that person that completed that CMP exam, what was their rationale for the negative opinion? If you didn't have a CMP exam, is in the rating decision, are they saying that they don't see any dental surgery in while you're on active duty in the Army? Okay, Slick Slick Juice TR, K Town, Germany. All right, I used to be stationed in Schweinfurt, Germany, so I spent a lot of time down in Hohensfeld and Grafenwehr. Henry Yates III, Frederick, Maryland. Okay. Paul, Nicetown. Okay. And then right after my sleep apnea was aggravated by my PTSD is likely to more. Is that good? To make that determination to see if that Nexus statement is actionable and sufficient, Randy, I would have to review it. Last year, I used to give classes on what makes a Nexus statement actionable and sufficient and what makes a DBQ actionable and sufficient. But I suspended that training. I think it was last October, and I haven't offered them since. I do it every once in a while if I get a request from someone that has, several vets that want to sign up, that are interested in that information. But I don't offer them on my website anymore. I only do it by special request if I have, more than 5 or 6 vets or something like that. Sam, on CMP exam for the back, there are 3 measurements taken for forward flexion. Which one of these measurements does VA use to give you a rating for flexion? Well, excuse me. They're going to look at the initial, I think the repetitive. They're going to look at all of them. They're going to put those in the system, but more than likely, it would should be the initial range of motion. But looking at all 3, because everything after that, I've seen in the past that either after the initial range of motion, the other range of motions are going to be the same or even lower. Okay, so it should be whatever one is the lowest. Other 3 measurements average to obtain the rate. If you look at the diagnostic code 5237 for the back general rating diagnostic code criteria, it talks about combined ranges of motion for 0, 10, 20, and 40%. So go to the diagnostic code criteria for general rating criteria for the thoracolumbar and cervical spine and look at those combined range of motion. And it'll say, it'll give you the number once it adds up, like the flexion extension, flexion extension, left and right lateral rotation. I think there's some other ones as well. Okay, let me get back. Okay. All right. Good evening from Arlington, Texas. Okay, I got some family in Arlington, Texas. I'm here now. Okay. All right. Brandon Franks, good evening. Meathead, Miss Kimball, I had a CMP exam with LHI. The VA kicked it back twice, saying not enough information. After the second time, they just turned it over to VES. Is that normal? I request a copy of LHI exam. It's not normal, but I've seen it happen in the past. Okay. For whatever reason, you have some examiners that just for whatever reason they they're not cutting the mustard, if you will. They're not completing exams correctly. So if they send an addendum back twice, obviously they needed more information. They probably just got tired and was like, okay, the examiner doesn't know what they're doing. Let's send it to somebody to get a final result. Okay, K Diesel. Last week, I called the VA and requested my VA code sheet. The representative stated that they are not permitted to provide VA code sheets to them. That is correct. I did a video on the national VA's National Call Center. So if you call the VA's National Call Center, they're limited in what they can do. They can get you a disability breakdown letter to include the diagnostic codes. From my understanding, for some of my clients, they're bagged up on sending out the rating decision within 10 days. And some veterans and some of my clients are calling the National Call Center after 10 days when they've seen that a decision has been rendered, and they're asking for them to send it by email. And also in that video, talk about some things that you can't get. They're not going to send you the rating code sheet. They're not going to send you a copy of your entire claims file. I've never seen that happen. Okay. Now, if you get someone one day and they're just feeling, in a good mood, but I just don't see it happening because most veterans' files is so large, it probably won't go through email anyway. Says, what is a problem list and how does it affect claims? Well, problem list, you'll see like in the STRs now from active duty. At the beginning, it'll have a problem list. So it'll have a dates from what I've seen. And on that list, it'll say left ankle pain, June 1st, 2015 or whatever. And it'll go down for each time that veteran was seen. Okay. And that's the problem list. All right, let's make sure we get these likes up. We got 75 people. Somebody let me know how many likes we got. Lorenzo Sparks, Columbia, South Carolina. Okay. I used to go to Myrtle Beach every year, spend a lot of time in Atlantic Beach and north of Myrtle Beach. Clay from Orangeburg. Okay. I was told by QTC they will contact me to reschedule a second exam with a different doc. Okay. So make sure you follow up on that, Terry, because you don't want them to send that back to the VA and, because then the adjudicator will say, hey, we got evidence. We'll go ahead and rate this claim. Because even some examiners, I've seen them, it happened to me. They didn't ask me half the questions on the exam, but when I went to the release of information office and got a copy of my CMP exam, and I did mine at the VA, so it would be in my records at the VA. They didn't ask me half the questions, but they checked the boxes like they did. So if you canceled it, they said they're going to reschedule, I would be calling them like every day or every other day because you don't want somebody to get it and they say you refuse the exam or whatever, and they send it back to the VA. File a congressional immediately, take notes and call them out. There you go. Third party is the way. Excuse me. The third party exams, when they first contracted those out, I don't know why I'm looking orange, people. Um, hmm. But anyway, when they start contracting those out, a lot of veterans were getting favorable decisions. And then all of a sudden, things just start to take a nosedive, and more veterans are having issues and getting denials um, from these third party contractors. So I don't know why that is. But, again, it's kind of hit and miss. Sam Glaze, thanks for the donation. Really appreciate it. Thank you for being a client as well. Buster Cap, thank you for the donation. Lorenzo does designate my wife, my caregiver, trigger a reevaluation. I'm 100% PNT. It shouldn't. Now, you saying caregiver on the healthcare side, or are you asking that she be your fiduciary on the benefit side? Okay, because you hear caregiver program, that's through the healthcare side, and normally what I discuss is the things on the VBA, Veterans Benefit Administration. So you're talking about the caregiver program on the VHA side, Veteran Healthcare Administration side. Yes, HLR does work DROSE through CMP exams, BS. Bill, hello, Ms. Kimball. Hey, how you doing, Bill? Had 2 CMP exams for TBI and PTSD. TBI was denied. PTSD was granted. Doc said can't differentiate TBI, PTSD. Could a 0995 be helpful, as TBI could cause issues later in life? Yeah, so whenever time you're denied, you want to come back in and reopen that claim, then it has to be done on an 0995. And actually, if you go to my YouTube channel, I do have a video on there where I'm discussing the supplemental claim and what needs to go along with that 0995. So make sure you go to my YouTube channel and just type in supplemental claim. That video should come up. Sam Glaze, can veterans request the VA to do a CMP exam in-house versus going to the yes, you can. Yep. And that's actually, I would have to look. I know it used to be in the M21 where it stated, hey, the instructions, and even when I worked at the VA, it was like this. And I don't know if it's still the same, but they gave us instructions: request all CMP exams through the third-party contractors, LHI, VES services, and QTC, unless the veteran requests they be done at the VA CMP office. Now, I've been away for about 2.5 years, so I don't know if they're still in place, but Sam, go out, check the M21, and if it is, it should be a reference in the M21 reference. Also, is it against any policy or rule for a VSO to print out CMP exams and medical opinions from VA contractors? A lot of times I've heard VSOs say they can't do it, but then in some instances, I've had some clients say, hey, I reached out to my VSO and they printed it out. Okay. But I haven't seen regulation or policy as it pertains to that. But you can go to the M21 and type in FOIA request and just see if there's something out there. But I never researched that. But good question. Buster, Dwayne, what's good? Hey, I'm feeling better. Nice weather, so I'm not complaining. I'm still working on your rims. Okay, are you talking about, are you from Houston? Because I think I was talking to a veteran from Houston. Was trying to get some Boss Hog tires from a rapper down there in Houston, Slim Thug. So anyway, any updates on obesity being an immediate step? I think I got that correct when claiming sleep apnea secondary PTSD. I haven't looked or researched that, but again, go to the M21. Now, when I say go to the M21, the reason why I'm saying that is not regulation or law, but it's easy to search. I did a class on this during one of my roundtables where I was showing veterans how to do a search. Now, one thing that I like about the M21, you can do a quick search like you're doing on Google. And everything in the M21, you just type in obesity and that word will come up in all those references. And when you find a particular reference that you're looking for, it could at the bottom it could have a 38 CFR, another M21 reference, and or a court case. And because if you try to go find these court cases, there's hundreds of them. And trust me, you're gonna get after an hour just trying to click on each court case, seeing which one fits what you need or pertains to your claim. You could be on there all day, all night. Okay. So the M21 is a quick way to search. Okay. And then you could possibly lead you to other 38 CFRs, Code of Federal Regulations, and possible other court cases. Carlos, hey, how we doing, Carlos? Hello, hope you're doing okay from Puerto Rico. Okay, yeah, I am. Thanks for asking. I just stated earlier that I was this last 2 weeks ago when I did this. I was battling. You know, I was coughing a lot in that last 8 to 5 minutes. I was going down quick, and actually, when I got off, I went and got in bed, and I was having some really chills, and it was kind of hard for me to breathe. And my wife was going. I called her. I was like, "Hey, I need you to come back home. I'm, in really bad shape." But it was a rough night. But thanks for asking. But I made it through it. Southampton, New York. Okay. Hey, Kevin, how you doing? Didn't see you in the last Veterans Roundtable. Hope all is well. Thanks for all you do. Appreciate it. You're welcome. I still have to get with you on mental health increase appeal. I need the Hillsborough business class guys info. Hope to talk to you soon. Yeah, let me know which Hillsborough business. Yeah, I did. Is it the person that I interviewed back in January? If so, yeah, I have his information and just tell him that, me, he's my business mentor. So if that's the person you're referring to, yeah, just give me a call, shoot me an email. I can get you that information. Me, I have two claims out, one for GERD and one for plantar fasciitis. Secondary to pes plans is the GERD you're claiming secondary to plantar fasciitis, or you just GERD and then the other one, plantar fasciitis secondary to pes plans. Okay. VA sent a request. If I had DBQs, I could upload them. Does this mean I may not get a CMP exam? Without expanding on that too much, it's going to be. I've done. Take that back. I did a video and I named it. I think it was last year, November. But if you go to my YouTube channel, I think I named it "Why Are VA Adjudicators Not Using Veterans DBQs?" Some of my clients and veterans I've talked to, they'll say, "Hey, they have a DBQ. We review it. It looks good." Some of them, the adjudicator will go ahead and rate the claim, and then sometimes they'll still schedule a CMP exam. Okay, even even if it's actionable and sufficient, and that happened to me on my last claim. I talk about that. So a lot of these questions that I'm getting, I have over. Excuse me. I have over about 125 plus videos and live streams. But the videos, go to my YouTube channel. If you have a question, let's say, and I'm outside of the live stream, and you got a question about supplemental claim, go to my YouTube channel, type in supplemental. If you want to see videos on high level review, go there, type in high level review or HLR. If you want to see something about the 5 ways of service connection, go to my YouTube channel, do a search for the videos, 5 ways of service connection. There's over 100 videos, okay? And just go to my YouTube channel, type it in, and it should come up if I did a video on that particular topic, okay? But still good information. Now, keep in mind if the video is over a year old, the information could be outdated due to the fact that the VA may have updated it. So again, that's where the research on the veterans end may have to come into play, may have to do some research, but that video could point you in the right direction. Kingish, good day, Sergeant. My February claim was finally closed. I checked my bank account and noticed some activity. I haven't received my notification decision letter. Hey, well, congratulations. And again, I still hear that the VA they still in the backlog. So if it's been closed more than 10 days, even some of my clients have been calling the National Call Center saying, hey, I got a decision. It's been over 10 days. I haven't received a decision and the notification letter in the rating decision in the email. Can you email it? And the rep at the call center has been so gracious to oblige and send that out. And I'm keeping an eye out on the 30-day time clock to see if I want a car. Oh, okay, yeah. So, Kingish, did you see the video I did about the car? If you hadn't, go to my YouTube channel, type in CAR, it'll come right up. I think I did it, maybe uploaded maybe a couple of weeks ago, but good information. Raiders fan, how does appealing an intent to file date work? Claim denied 2 times, then granted on supplemental claim with the same info as the 2 denials. Okay, so, man, excuse me, sorry. You have, when you are denied, you have 365 days of appeal rights. So if 365 days is not broken, say for instance, you get denied and 6 months after you got denied, you come back in, you do a supplemental claim. And then you get denied and you do another supplemental claim. You get denied and then you do a high-level review and you get approved. So as long as the first supplemental claim, second supplemental claim, and a high-level review, if you submitted those 0995s and 0996s within that year time frame, it should go back. But without looking at all information, I can't say why they didn't. But in the rating decision, they should have told you why they gave you that particular effective date. Now, if it's been outside, let's say, for instance, you got denied and 5 years later you come back in and you do a supplemental claim and they grant it, it's not going to go all the way back to the initial data claim or the initial intent to file. But again, without looking at the information, I can't say why they didn't. Okay, we got 102 people in here. Let's make sure we get those likes up. Somebody let me know how many likes we got. Ship Howard, sir, my cervical radiculopathy secondary came back less likely than not related to my connected strain degenerative disc disease. Should I get a Nexus? Well, you got to have a DBQ to accompany the Nexus. But more so, I would ask, do you have a copy of the CMP exam? What was the doctor's rationale as to why your radiculopathy was not secondary to the strain, cervical strain, I'm assuming, degenerative disc disease? So I would say check the actual diagnostic code that they use. If it's 5237, then that means it's a cervical strain. Sometimes they may say 5003 or 5010-5237. Okay. I've seen examiners say, hey, the veteran service connection for degenerative disc disease, that's a bone. There's no way that it can affect the nerve. But if you have a strain, and by no means am I a medical professional and I'm giving medical advice, I'm not doing that. I'm just simply saying what I've seen as it pertains to this. But I would say start with getting a copy of that CMP exam and see the rationale that the doctor used to support less likely than not in the medical opinion. Now, some adjudicators, they will put that rationale, the medical opinion and rationale in the rating decision. So you might want to go back and look at it. And if it's not in there, then you can submit a FOIA request to get a copy of the CMP exam. All right. Henry, if my effective date is 1 April, but my claim was rating decision was 15 May, do I get back pay to April 1 or May 1? Does a payment just start on June 1st? Well, if the effective date is 1 April, rating decision was done 15 May. May 1st, the payment for May 1st is for April. Okay. So it should be a month's retro. Now, check the notification letter to check the notification letter to make sure that those dates are right. So the way payments work, the first of every month, when we get those payments, is for the previous month. Okay. Marcus, left and right shoulder condition. How do I know if bilateral factor is applied? Word for service connected, it's applied. Eric, hello and thanks for the information in the video. Hey, not a problem. You're most certainly welcome. Tammy, I had a subpar VA CMP exam and it went and got a IMO for my supplemental claim. Are these two weighted equally? It should be, but it's going to depend on the adjudicator. There's hundreds of them, and I can't say if they will weigh them. But again, if you have a medical opinion, a Nexus statement, where's the Dbq? Slick Juice, what we got? Hello, I'm located in Germany, and I'm staying over after my retirement. I have about 90 days left on active duty. So some of my exams will be located all post with German examiners. Should I be worried? I never had an exam with any German doctors, so I wouldn't know. I've talked to veterans that lived in Germany, and they had doctors that they went to, and they said one of the hurdles was that they weren't their doctor was not familiar with the Dbqs. But if the VA is sending you to one, I would assume that the German doctors are or should be up to date on the Dbqs. Wayne Key, I believe that I was rated improperly for my knee. Again, do you have a copy of the CMP exam? What are the range of motions? Where does those range of motions fall under the diagnostic code criteria? So I filed for an increase. I'm currently at 20%. And according to the rules in 38 CFR, I should be a 30%. I believe I had reconstructed ACL surgery. Okay. So if you should be at 30%, the diagnostic code that you've been assigned for that knee, what is the requirement for the 30%? And a lot of times it's based off of range of motion. So I did a video I have a YouTube video where I talk about range of motion, the doctors using a goniometer. How do they measure range of motion? So if you should be at 30%, that diagnostic code, when you look up that diagnostic code and you see the range of motion, have you or you had a medical professional measure that range of motion? And do you meet that criteria? And also on that CMP exam, do you have a copy of it? And what is the range of motion? And when you went to a CMP exam, did a doctor use a goniometer? So definitely go and check out that video. Johnny, sir, why is the VA is now focusing on combining ratings? For example, once my compensation claim was processed, they combined my shin splints with my knee rating and placed it in a continued status. There's hundreds of adjudicators. I don't know why each one do what they do, but sometimes they will combine it, especially, for example, just an example. Let's say, for instance, your shin splints is at 0%. They may combine that with the knee. Question I have, do you have a copy of that CMP exam? What are the diagnoses on that CMP exam? That medical opinion that the doctor say you had both, okay? But in some instances, they will combine it because in the 38 CFR, in that particular body system in the rating schedule, it will say for diagnostic codes from here to here, Do not break them out. Do not separate them. Combine them and make the prominent diagnosis the primary. Okay. Uh, so it's in the, if you look at the body system, okay, the rating schedule at the beginning of it, it'll give some instructions on when to combine certain diagnostic codes. Sammy Slick Justice had a buddy. Okay, so I'm sorry, you was answering another question. Hello, my VSO just submitted my supplemental claim. Okay, so your VSO submitted. Do you have a copy of that claim for your records? That's the first question I have for you. Can I see the progress of the claim on the VA app? Yes, you should be able to. Will the VSR rating your claim? Sam, there's hundreds of RVSRs. I don't know which each individual VSR would do, but I do know what they're supposed to do per their guidelines. And they all do something a little bit different. But with a VSR rating your claim taken into consideration, if you call the 800 number after receiving a negative medical opinion from a contractor because they didn't reach your STRs. So how do you know they didn't reach your STRs? Do you have a copy of the CMP exam where they stated they did not read the STR? So how do you know that examiner did not read your STRs? Buster Cap, Dwayne, what's good? All is good here, sir. Thanks for asking. I'm still working. Okay. Any other? Okay. I think you already asked me that. Okay. I call requesting that the VSR get a new medical opinion on a couple conditions after receiving a negative opinion. So if I was rating and a veteran asked me to request another exam just because they got a negative opinion, more than likely I wouldn't do it. What is the reason that I should be requesting that new exam? Just because you got a negative opinion? That's not a reason. I can give you an example of a reason if it's an insufficient exam. Like somebody said, Traveling Terry stated earlier, he stated that, hey, it was a very hostile exam. So, whatever, maybe some questions went asked, and maybe there was a little bit of back and forth, something like that. But even in the M21, you can go and search insufficient exams. And it'll give you some reasons for some insufficient exams. On one of my CMP exams, and I talk about this in the video, my VA claims process as a VA rater, I went in for back secondary to my severe flat feet, my ankles, and my knees. And the doctor asked me, are all you people naturally big? And the first question that I asked him, define you people. What do you mean? And he says, oh, no. I'm not. It's too late. You already let the words come out of your mouth when you say you people, because my name, Dwayne Kimball, that's on that 2507 medical request that you're looking at is singular. When you say you people, you mean plural. So define yourself. So when I left that exam, I knew that he was going to deny the claim. I just knew it because it was horrible. Out of the four, this was the second one that was horrible. Okay. So I immediately emailed the director over at VA hospital. And I told him my name. I gave him my last four. I gave her the doctor's name and the date of the CMP exam and events that occurred in that CMP exam. And I said that I shouldn't have to appeal this based on that reason because of, what he stated. I said, that's not an appeal issue. What I'm looking for is for another exam without having to wait and appeal for, back then, it was like appeal was taking like 4 or 5 years. Okay. So that helped me get traction to get another CMP exam in a matter of months. Okay. I think it was like maybe about 5 or 6 months, which back then it was really quick. Okay. But what I did was when I got the response from the director of the hospital, I sent that to VBA. Okay. And I asked for reconsideration based on, I wrote a statement and I sent in a copy of the CMP exam, which they already had, and a letter from that director, her response back to me. And that was enough for me. And I threw in a couple of M21 references as it pertains for insufficient exam and one of the 38 CFRs. And that helped me get another exam. But just saying, hey, I got denied. I don't think I should have got a negative opinion, request another one. More likely they're not going to do it. Even if I was still rating out, I wouldn't do it. Okay. It has to be something there where I can see like reasonable doubt, like, okay, better than raise reasonable doubt. I believe that happened. Let me go ahead and schedule another one. It's that time. Okay. New York City. I see you. How we doing? Miss Spree, thanks for the super sticker. Definitely appreciate it. Giselle Rodriguez, what documents should I send so my claim can be processed a bit faster? Excuse me. Examples, D214, related previous VA disability rating. Second, they have all that information. Okay. I don't think that there's any documents that you can send in and make it go faster. Now, I did a video about how do you get a faster response and possibly, get your claim rated faster. And in January, I did a video and I called it, how do you get the claim faster or something? But I'm talking about a direct upload. Okay. So going to their website, a link that I provided, and doing a direct upload. A lot of my clients have been doing it, and my the feedback from them is saying, "Hey, once I submit that claim, I got a call like in a matter of days, scheduling me for my CMP exam." Okay, and then some of them may have to wait 30 days to get a decision. Some of them are a lot faster, but the direct upload seems to be the fastest way. And there, from my understanding, we do a direct upload. It goes right to the VA, and they get it. Okay. So that may help. But again, go to my YouTube channel, everybody. And if you got a topic like this, just I would say Giselle Rodriguez, type in faster, and it should come up because I use that word in that video, when I name the video. It could be a local issue. Okay. It's that time. Is a letter from a treating physician say the condition is least likely is not caused by time of service as a Nexus letter for VBA. I did classes on Nexus statements, but I just suspended them. I suspended them last year. But it needs a little bit more than that, you got to have, that's just a medical opinion. What's the rationale? What documents were reviewed? The rationale with, doctor's name, MPI, medical license number, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. On the VHA side. So yeah, that's different. Lorenzo, caregiver is not on the VBA side. I talk about stuff on the VBA side. I do know what the caregiver is on the healthcare side, but if you do that, that shouldn't, impact your 100% P&T on the VBA side. Totally two different entities. Okay. Is it actionable? If you just send in a Nexus statement just with the medical opinion, no, it is not considered actionable. Okay, Redbone said 47 likes. Hey, we got 120 people in here and only 47 likes. Okay, Ms. Redbone, let me know how many likes we got right now. Sam Martinez, possibly of the PAC Act being signed next month with hypertension as a presumptive age of orange for veterans of Vietnam previously denied claims for hypertension. How will this affect those claims? Thank you. I'm assuming that if, I'm not going to say assuming, but whenever a condition is added to, especially, let's just take Agent Orange. Back in 2010, they added coronary artery disease, B-cell leukemia, I think, and one other condition. Okay. And what they did was a big thing. Okay. So veterans that were previously denied, like let's say 1982, we had to go all the way back and we had to do some stage rating. So I remember doing one, I think I went back to like 1982, 1985, and I had to do a stage rating all the way up to 2010. The vet got almost like $500,000 in retro. So it could be like that. I don't know, but that's what they've done in the past when they've added something to the Agent Orange presumptive list. Yeah, people, let's get these likes up. We got 110 people in here. Sorry, my comments flicked up on Facebook user. Is it based on medication? I know you had asked a question earlier. I'll go ahead and ask me the full question again. Nick, hello. I wanted to ask, could I put chronic fatigue connected to anxiety and depressive disorder to where I'm so tired, sleep headaches, and some mental? Yeah, you can. But again, I'm no medical professional, so I can't say, oh, yeah, that's a link or they should grant it. But yeah, you can do that if you want. Also, can you make dementia a recurring quest on the show? She was excellent. Oh, Demetri. Oh, I thought you said dementia. I'm thinking that. I haven't talked to her in a while, but normally if I bring a guest on, it's only maybe 1 or 2 times. But no, not just make it because it's going to be pretty much the same information that we're going to be talking about. Christian, if I submitted a service connection with a Nexus letter with the phrases more likely than not from physician along with x-rays where he circled the areas of concern, is this good enough evidence to give me? Yeah, it could get you rated, but is it enough to get you service connected? Okay. Where's the DBQ? Is the Nexus statement and DBQ actionable and sufficient? Sam, if you get service connected for a condition of 0% or a low percentage, is the HLR the only vehicle for readiness outside of the BVA? Can you do a CUE? You can, but again, we got to understand that if they gave you 0%, why did they give you that 0%? What's on that in that CMP exam? Okay, so if you go to that CMP exam and you look at the diagnostic code criteria, they say, yep, it is service connected, and you look at the criteria under the diagnostic code, and then you look at the CMP exam, and the criteria on the CMP exam matches with the 0% in the diagnostic code criteria, how can you get a higher percentage? How? Okay. One of the things that I educate my clients on, the diagnostic code criteria. Whatever you're claiming, okay, so clients I've done educational packets for, one-on-one sessions. In the educational packet, we put the diagnostic code criteria. Before you even get to that CMP exam, okay, I'm claiming migraines. I meet the 30% criteria. So when you go in that exam, if you get service connected, it should be at 30%. Should, based on how you reasonably articulated your symptomology, and if the doctor checked all the boxes. Did a video of a mock CMP exam. You can go to my YouTube channel, Sam, and look it up with one of my employees. And I was a doctor. I was an examiner. I'm not a medical professional. I was just acting out as an examiner. And then my employee was a veteran. And we were going through a DBQ. And I intentionally missed asking some questions. And you can watch that video and you can see how he responded to me missing those questions. Okay. But again, and the CUE, I did a video on the CUE. The veteran has to tell the VA what the CUE is. Just because you got a 0%, that doesn't mean it's a CUE. What is, the veteran has to explain the CUE. and the explanation has to rise to a level of a CUE. Which 38 CFR did they violate or they didn't follow? Okay. Sam, hey, thanks for the super sticker. I definitely appreciate it. Do you do private coaching? I don't do private coaching. What I do private Q&A session with veterans based on what they may be trying to do. Now, sometimes I get asked questions. If I do this, what would the VA do? There's hundreds of VA employees. I don't know all of them. So I don't know which each individual employee will do. But I do know what they're supposed to do per the 38 CFR and M21. They don't always do it. Okay. You're human, they make mistakes. So, a lot of veterans, they do a one-on-one with me or one of my staff members, and they may ask us questions about, hey, I got a high level review coming up. I watched the video, some of the other videos on high level review. How did you win your appeal? Back then when I did mine, it was appeal. What formula did you use to win all your appeals? And I share that with them. We may go out into the M21 or 38 CFR, look at the reasonable doubt rule. But in that instance, where I've had those private Q&A sessions, one of the things I asked that veteran, why do you feel you should have been awarded the increase, early effective date, or service connection for whatever you're doing a high level review, and what regulation, court case, or M21 you have to bag it up? And what do you think the VA should have done? Okay. And you can go to my YouTube channel, type in HLR. Somebody said Demetria. I had her as a guest. She talked about her winning her high level review. I've done videos where I talked about exactly, the formula that I use to help me win everything that I appeal like 8 things all at one time, and I won all of them. Okay. It's not always that easy, but in that video, I talk about the formula that I use. Now, I'm not saying you could do everything exactly like I did and win, but I found it beneficial for me. And I think by doing that, I think it's a good blueprint or reference, if you will. Okay. So I still got that little cough. I don't know why, but I'm still taking some medication for it. But I did test negative last week for COVID. Kingish, I appreciate all of your efforts. I hope to continue learning from your experience. Thanks again. Excuse me. Hey, $40. I really appreciate the donation, Kingish. Like I said, everyone, it's my passion to do this, to talk to veterans, to see, where they need education. And what I do, if you've been to my website, I only educate veterans. That's it. I don't advise you. You can talk to some clients. I have a couple on here. I don't tell them, oh, you should do this, other than you should get educated. Okay. And on my website, I have under the services, the different educational services that I provide. If you go out there on Google and you Google my business, KMD89 VA Claim Consultant, I got over 70, 75 plus 5-star reviews. And you can get the feedback from people talking about veterans roundtables, one-on-one sessions, clients that opted into educational packets and what they found, or, how they thought, my educational services helped them. Okay. And also, I haven't done one recently, but I have live testimonials as well on my YouTube channel and on my website from previous clients. The MAD research. I recently had a remand CMP and ACE exam. The ACE exams, I don't like them. I don't like them at all. I got a copy of this ACE, and I think it is incomplete. It's not surprisingly, because an ACE exam is just, in my opinion, it's ridiculous, but I won't harp on that. The examiner gave her opinion only on one of my issues and nothing on the others. What do I do now? In that notification letter, they're going to tell you, I think it's on the second or third page, if you disagree, and they're going to give you some options. Okay, you have to follow that, and then figure out, hey, Do you have a copy of your claims folder? And you got, I think if you do a high-level, well, I'm not going to say you think, but if you decide to do a high-level review, you got a year to do it. Okay, so if that's an option, then question is, do you have a copy of the CMP exam, and etc. So we're at the 1 hour mark. Let's see if I got any other super stickers or any other donations. I do not. I can check. See where I left off. I'm gonna answer a couple more. Then we're gonna go ahead and wrap it up. Yes, I hear you. But when I finally got approved, it was August 2021, but my intent to file date was June 2020. My letter says I have 1 year to file an appeal, obtain the decision later on. Yes, you do. But again, I would have to review all the information to see why they did not go back to the June 2020 date. And again, they could have made a mistake. They could have. And, when I rate it, I make mistakes. Sometimes I caught it. Sometimes other people caught it. Sometimes the quality department caught it, and I got an error. That VA employees are human, and again, you're on quotas, and they're running through these claims fast. And when you do that, things get missed. Okay, so give them a break, but it's not bulletproof. I mean, mistakes can and sometimes do happen. The message is salute to the channel. I definitely appreciate it. Make sure you subscribe. Can somebody tell me how many likes I got now? We got 100 people in here. What is really meaning 0% service connected? Carlos, what that means is there's 0%. So whatever it is, you're 0%, but you're not receiving. It's not compensable, so you're not receiving. Any dollar amount for that particular condition. But at least you got service connected, and if it gets worse down the road, you can always file an increase. That's what a increase is. 20 years United States Air Force vet. Hello, all right, Brian. Hello, can essential tremors rateable? You can go under. I think the seizures are under the neurological body system in the rating schedule to look and see what the criteria is. Because I think they call them Paul major, minor, something like that. Petmal, Paul. I think that's what it is. But definitely go to the rating schedule. I think it's in the neurological and check out the criteria. Robert, how much faster is expedited request speed up on a claim? There's no set time. I can't say, it's 2 weeks or 3 weeks or a month. Because there's so many variables. So I can't give a time frame of how fast. Even if it's priority, like if the veteran's terminal, veteran's homeless, is the veteran over 85, those do get priority. I did a video on claims that the VA has labeled that should be done, move to the front of the line. Okay, so I'm going to take one more. Good evening. Okay, we only got 71 likes. All right, 900 people. Let's see. Okay, that's the last one. Is obstructive apnea secondary to sinusitis hard to connect? Again, I'm not a medical professional. You could claim that, it's your option as a veteran on a secondary basis. I'm pretty sure if you had 100 examiners, look at that, you're going to have some that's going to deny it based on whatever, and you're going to have some that possibly can approve it based on whatever. But I would say Google sinusitis. Google say is or can obstructive sleep apnea, can sinusitis cause obstructive sleep apnea, and look for any medical studies that have been done to see if there is a connection or correlation. Okay. Again, I'm no medical provider, so I can't say, they can grant it. I've seen some veterans do get sleep apnea secondary to like allergic rhinitis, sinusitis, deviated septum And then I've seen some veterans get denied. Okay. And I think it's going to come down to the examiner and the evidence that's in the file. Okay. So I've seen it go both ways. But again, I'm not a medical professional, so I can't say, oh, yeah, for sure. Sleep apnea. I mean, sinusitis does cause sleep apnea. I cannot say that. Okay. So that being said, I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. If I didn't get to your question, I do this every 2 weeks. Week after next on Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Tune in and I'll get through as many questions as I can in an hour. And I want to reiterate, go to my YouTube channel. I get comments a lot of times. Hey, have you done a video on this? And I'll say, yeah, go to my YouTube channel, look it up. And they'll say, oh, send me the link. Some veterans don't even want to do the research just by going to my YouTube channel and doing a search for that video. I used to provide that link. I don't do it anymore. You, the veteran, if I did a video on it, I'm telling you, go to my YouTube channel. And I've actually shared my screen, I think on a couple of live streams showing my channel how to do searches on the videos. Okay. So if you have a question, even after the live stream, and if I didn't get to it this time, go to my YouTube channel because I could have done a video on that particular topic. Okay. But always continue to educate yourself on this process. It's an ever-changing process. And again, VA employees on quotas, they're going through these claims really fast and they're human. Okay. They're human and they can make a mistake. I know a lot of veterans think that every claim, there should be no errors, and that's just not humanly possible. Okay. You're going to have some errors, but if you're educated, you can identify those errors. Some of the times, veterans will reach out to me and say, hey, can you review this rating decision, Nexus statement, and CMP exam and give me feedback? That's something, one of the educational services that we provide. We do a report, and then we go over that report with the veteran so they understand, hey, this is why you got the effective date. Or sometimes I've done it and actually found CUEs that the VA had and pointed it out, and then the veteran goes and takes it from there. Okay. And they'll call back and say, hey, I got this overturned, I identified the CUE, and that's what that sometimes in that one-on-one Q&A session. Okay. So that being said, again, thank you for joining me tonight. Everyone that donated, gave a super sticker, the donations, I really, really appreciate it. For those of you that obtained 100% PNT, congratulations. For those of you that are still on that path, don't give up, don't give up, don't give up. Be on the lookout for more of my videos on YouTube. Make sure you like, subscribe, hit that notification button, and always share these videos with your fellow veterans. Thank you.